So, me and my fellow beginners will come to YouTube and search how to pick colors or how to create color palette for our flyers. Unfortunately, what we see or the most viral videos, they use web or UI to demonstrate how to pick color palettes, so we don't get the most out of it. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about it, how we can pick dominant colors, how to pick color schemes, and how to use the 60-30 rule. Okay, in the previous video we talked about color psychology, so make sure to check that out, and also ask me for the presentation on the previous video on the psychology. Check the link below in the description to download the PSD for that presentation. Okay, and for this presentation you will get it in the next video, and this video is going to be very interactive. Why? Because this video will talk about how to pick color schemes or how to pick out dominant color, explain all these that I've said, and you will be tasked to design 2 flyers. Okay, pick your color scheme based on color psychology, come up with 2 flyers, and I will show you how to present them and send to me, whether on Instagram, whether on Telegram, in our chat room, or if you've bought my animation crash course, you have my number, you can send it to me on WhatsApp. And in the next video, or this video is very long, so it will be in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. And the third video on this series, we will just discuss or show you how you can use those color palettes based on all the designs that I will get. Okay, so if you want to be part of this, you will have to just submit your designs in how I want you to submit them. Okay, so that I will know how you use them and we can use it to build on the next video when we are talking about hierarchy or color hierarchy. Okay, so this video is 1 in a million, it in 2 parts, so these videos are 2 in a million.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What is he saying?
Anyways, this is Cool Graphics with a design chef. Big ups to my other chefs in this restaurant. If you're a chef already, like this video so that others get to see this video. And if you're new here, this is the design restaurant full of serious everyday cooking chefs. Okay, we don't knock, we don't look at nyash, we don't no, I didn't say anything like that. Okay, so let's jump into this video. So we are starting off with the question why you don't find most YouTube videos on color palette useful. Okay, so as a beginner, we all struggle with colors, and we've all gone to the YouTube search bar and be like, color to pick color palette, how to do this, how to do that on color. But you see, the videos that they pop up at the top, we don't, even though they actually accrue more views, but we don't get, when it comes to flyers, we don't get what we want. Okay, we still go back to our normal state of confusion. So the first reason is mostly web or UI. Okay, so most of the videos that you encounter or you come across on YouTube on color palette, your motive is, I'm going to watch this video so that I'll be able to choose colors for my flyers. By the end, they will be using web or UI to teach you that aspect of choosing color palette or that in that video. Okay, and it's way different. Even though the road may seem the same, there are certain key points or things that cut across everywhere when it comes to picking or choosing colors. But they use web design or even a web page or something to teach you that. Okay, and that wouldn't help us at all. All right, so the second thing is Afro-centered designers. Okay, so when I say Afro-centered design, I mean African designers or designers that find themselves in Africa. Okay, so if you go to Pinterest right now and then you search flyer designs, almost 99% of the flyers that pop up were designed by African designers or designers based in Africa. And those are the type of designs or the level that me and my fellow beginners want to get to with colors. Okay, and we don't get videos on that kind on YouTube because everything else will be UI, web design, whatever, UI UX. And if you search UI UX or UI designs or web designs on Pinterest, almost 99% of those web or whatever are designed by outsiders. Okay, people outside the boundaries of Africa. All right, so that is why this video is, and talking about colors, we are not finishing in one single video. Did I just say something wrong? In one single video. Yo, William Shakespeare, let me know in the comments. In one single video, is that correct? All right, so that is it. Okay, those are the reasons why you don't find most of the YouTube videos helpful. So let's jump into the next slide and see what I got for you guys. So this is the beginning, and this will be very helpful. I myself sometimes struggle with colors, and I'm just going to do my best to level things out for us all. So your palette should have 1 primary, 2 secondary, 3 and accent. These are all colors, and this is not primary colors. I mean, just like with this color. No, those are like that. I mean, your primary colors, let's say the most important colors, and then it's like your partner, and then the secondary colors will be the side chick, and then the accents will be those that you use to release. I've said release again. Hey. Oh my god, let's continue. Anyways, you get the point. So it's like arranged in order of importance. Okay, so that is that. Now let's go to the next slide. Anyways, you will get this presentation in the next video, and in this video is where you get the previous one. So check the link in the description for the previous videos presentation. Good. So primary, the main color in your design, it sets the overall mood and usually covers the largest parts like the background or big sections. Okay, so the primary color that you choose, maybe it could be 1 or 2. All right, they take majority of the space on your flyer. All right, and the secondary, the second color that complements the primary, it adds variety, balance, and used for shape, size, sections, and secondary text. And we have the accent. Okay, the accent guy, the small but powerful color, it grabs attention and used to use sparingly on key details like buttons, icons. It is used to highlight important things, to guide the viewer's eye through the artwork or the flyer. Okay, so maybe this color will be taking majority of the space, so it will be difficult to spot something in there, something important. So you have to just touch it up with a different color to set the whole thing apart so that it will grab attention. That is the accent. Okay, good. And we can do this without the guy on the right, the 60-30 rule. Okay, so we are saying the primary color that you pick. Okay, you're about to design a flyer, you want to pick colors. The primary colors that the primary color that you pick, or the dominant color that you pick, it is going to take 60%. When you go by this rule, it's going to take 60% of the whole space. Okay, the whole flyer. And the secondary that you pick is going to take 30, and then the accent, those guys that you use to tap in attention, they are going to take 10% of the work or the space. So in order for you not to get stuck or become static with this 60-30 rule, all right, even if you go out there and look at plenty or most of the flyers, good looking flyers out there, they tend to follow this rule, but not tend to break it as well. Okay, but the thing is, here's the trick. Okay, if you look at this thing, it says 60-30-10. So maybe your mind will be like, okay, the dominant color 60, rigid 30. All right, no, this whole thing is 100. All right, to be flexible, you can cut the potato into pieces. Okay, that doesn't make sense anyway. These are the reasons why I hate motivational speakers. What does potato or whatever got to do with color theory or 60-30? Yo, so that the whole thing is that these percentages could change. Okay, these percentages could change depending on the color scheme that you pick. Okay, so you have to realize that the more colors you got on your color palette, okay, the more this 60% become complicated, because the more colors that you got, you'll be having 2 colors as primary. Okay, maybe a color and its shades, different shades. All right, but here is the trick: don't go for your primary or dominant color, don't go anything less than 50. Okay, because in certain designs you may be having 2 colors, for instance this and that. Okay, you could replace this guy, right? This yellow guy right here could be the accent, the 10% for maybe buttons, order now, or something else, and the 30 could be white. We will talk about that quickly. So the thing is, this dominant shouldn't go anything less than 50, but sometimes it could take 70%, and then the 20 could be a different color, and then the 10 could even be 5 could go for one color, let's say white or black or any other color. Okay, so the thing is that don't go below 50. Okay, but when you pass 50, you could cut this thing anyhow you want. Okay, the percentages, you could cut them anyhow you want depending on the color scheme that you pick. Okay, that is now the cucumber or the potato makes sense now. Okay, so if it passes 50, you could stop at 50, and then the next color could take 40. Then you divide the rest for the accent. Okay, that is how you should picture this whole thing. Not necessarily every day 60-30. We tell you, we advise you, you don't listen. 60-30 every day. No, I don't care. 60, no, don't do that. Just when you pass 50, because there are certain designs, you will see one color and then white filling everywhere, or you see two colors on the design. Okay, 50-50, 60-40. All right, that is that. But your dominant color shouldn't go below 50. So let's narrow this down to flyers. Okay, so here are some points to note. One, fancy palettes are not necessary. Okay, for flyers have limited sections as compared to web UI. And now when you go to Google and search, color palette examples, those that you get are mostly for web UI, as I explained earlier. And these are examples of those kind of color palettes for web UI. You got multiple colors in one palette or on one palette. We have a small space and we can just put in more colors only if we are designing, cultural themes. Okay, maybe those rave or summer vibes, or let's say cultural styles. As for cultural designs, you have to put in more colors or different colors, but you have to know how to use it. Okay, but when it comes to day-to-day normal business corporate flyers, we don't paint. Okay, we don't paint. We don't kid paint. We are not kids that we are trying to rehearse with paint. All right, so those color palettes, bunch of color palettes or colors are not necessary. And color palette for your flyer should be based on a color scheme. You can't skip this. You can either choose complementary and analogous, triadic, or whatever. So the base or the dominant color that you pick based on color psychology, we'll talk about that. You just have to come to this guy and then pick what you will complement it with, or the harmony. Okay, so a tip for you is, for this tip, I will read it, but you understand it later. You can assist any color scheme with a monochromatic. Even if you pick this, you can assist it with a monochromatic. Pick this, assist it with a monochromatic. Good. We will talk about that later. And this is what I explained in the previous slide. The 60-30 rule remains the same, but could be used differently depending on the color scheme. Okay, so the 60% could change to 70 or 80. The 30 could be 20, 10, whatever. When we start the previews or the practical aspect of this, we would understand this better. So we are heading to picking our dominant colors and then the color palette, but let's clear the air. Okay, we are trying to clear the air because somebody just polluted the air. So we are Captain Planet. We are just clearing the air, even though some of you just polluted the air with some dangerous gas. All right, so is black or white a color? When it comes to the 60-30 rule, there's a debate. White is not a color. White is not part. White can't be 30. When it comes to science, physics, black is the absence of light. So technically, not a color. White, the combination of all visible light wavelengths. So it is a color. All right, it is the combination of all colors. Even on a color wheel, when you spin it very fast, it will turn to white, or the main color that you see will be white, unless it slows down. Then that's what we call, that's when, or that's why when you pass white light through a glass prism, it turns to rainbow, or you see those rainbow colors. Okay, when it comes to art, yes, you can see the big yes over there. Black or white, they are colors. Let's move on. So the 60-30 rule and black and white, they could take any percentage, not necessarily 10% as accents. Okay, you will find designs where what you look at, or what you see when you look at that design, is white. Okay, the dominant color is white. That means 60% or 70% of that design is white, making it the primary color. Okay, good. And others will be shared among themselves. Okay, so the black also could take 60, because there are designs, all that you see is black and some touch of other colors. Okay, so don't just limit yourself. Don't, whatever video that you've watched or whatever that somebody has said, white is a color in art, black is a color in art. They could be added, they could become your primary color. And they could also take 30% of the design. So let nobody tell you otherwise, that you can't put white in your color palette as a dominant color, or taking a larger portion of your design. Let's move on to the next slide. So steps to creating a palette for your flyers. We got 1, dominant color, picking a dominant color, your 60%. And 2, the scheme. So when you pick a dominant color, then you go to the scheme, because the secondary and the accents will just come when you pick a scheme. Okay, so picking the dominant color will be based on 1 or 2 reasons, and then you use the color wheel and the color schemes, or the harmony, to just come up with the complementary colors. Okay, or the colors that will be your secondary and accents. All right, so here is where the real deal begins. Okay, so picking a dominant color, the steps or the things to consider when picking a dominant color, or scenarios that you can get yourself into and pick your dominant color. I don't know. So things to consider. Okay, first, brand identity. If the flyer is for business with their brand colors, stick close to that, because consistency builds trust and recognitions. If they approach you and say, do this for us, okay, we want flyers out there, but we have our colors, stick to those colors. Don't tell them that their colors don't make sense. Just stick to it. Okay, and pick a dominant color from those colors that they give you, and just relate it to the theme or the goal of the flyer. Okay, so 1, brand identity. If they give you, you have to stick to that, so you get your dominant color from there. Okay, so 2, the purpose. If you don't get any colors or brand colors, that you can stick to, you can consider the purpose and field. Okay, so you just pull up your piece of paper and be like, okay, so I want to pick a dominant color for this flyer. Okay, so let me just go to the purpose or the field this flyer finds itself in. What is the flyer for? Example, tech event, food, party, church, saloon promo. You just write that down, and you just go to color psychology, because color trigger emotions, as we discussed in the previous video. Okay, so is this flyer for tech events, food, party? You would definitely find it in one of these. Okay, there are more, but you find it. Okay, so a color psychology. Okay, so if it is food, what colors are associated with, let's say, food? Okay, that will have more influence on the people when I pick those colors, or when people see more of those or of that color on the flyer. That is when color psychology comes in. All right, and the target audience. You see, this one, this modern day, it doesn't count. Okay, that much. Okay, because even though kids, we have age and gender. Kids, did I just say kinds? Whatever, let me just clean that. I have space bar and the delete or something. So kids, yo, kids, what's wrong with me? Okay, so kids respond to bright, playful colors. Adults to refined tones. Okay, and culture, in some places red is love, in others danger. Okay, but today we all celebrate Christmas, even though in my tribe red means danger. Good. So please consider these things. So let's take them one after the other. Okay, so when they give you brand identity or colors, this is what you should do. As a graphic designer, you've come across motion flyers. If not, this is what I mean. So what you are seeing right here were static flyers brought to life in Adobe After Effects. And I'm sure you want to know more about this. Hi there, I'm Emmanuel, and welcome to the Ultimate Flyer Animation Crash Course with Cook Graphics. From 2D to 3D flyer animation in Adobe After Effects, which include 5 solid topics. And this is what we will learn in this course. We will first of all start with the basics of After Effects, covering each and every single tool in After Effects, and master the transform options, which are the backbone of motion flyers in After Effects. And the best part of this is we will learn how to create flyers from scratch in Adobe After Effects. Yes, not Photoshop, Adobe After Effects from scratch, which will help you get solid understanding of the tools in Adobe After Effects. And from there, we will learn how to import and animate Photoshop flyers, including the ones we create from scratch in After Effects. Then we move on to 3D animations. We will start with the basics of the camera tool, camera options, the null object, and any other tool that makes 3D animations possible in Adobe After Effects. And finally move on to polish our skills with top-notch 2D and 3D projects. So take a look at a couple of projects that we will polish our hands with. This and many more that we will cover in this crash course. All videos are available on Google Drive to download and practice at your own pace, and a big discount for the first 100 people, especially those who have subscribed to Cook Graphics channel on YouTube. Motion flyers is not a trend, that's a whole new skill on its own. So grab those courses and upgrade your skills as well as your portfolio today.